So as we all know, the Season 2 of Overwatch Competitive is coming out very soon, and with that knowledge I want to talk about the characters that are probably going to get buffed and the characters that are probably going to get nerfed. Now why do I do this? Well, the simple fact that in almost every other competitive game in the entire existence always buffs and nerfs characters when there is a brand new season, so I'm guessing that Overwatch is probably going to do the same and just follow that vein of logic like everyone else has been doing. And with that idea in mind, I kind of want to talk about the character Zarya. Of course, that's why you came here. It's in the title. And Zarya is a character that is a very strong character and has always been a very strong character. But she's also kind of been a character that not many people actually talk about. It's really quite weird. Over the past few months, she has had a very high win rate, and of course, quick play, and also in competitive, and also in esports. A very high win rate and a very high play rate. So what's up with this character, and what are we going to probably be seeing with this character? Well, with Zarya, let's just talk about her kit a little bit, and of course let's talk about probably the best thing about her kit, her E and her shift. Now of course these things have decently long cooldowns, you know, like 10 to 8 seconds, but the fact is, these abilities are very strong for cooldowns that are that long. Now let's think about this. You have an E, let's press that E on a teammate. When you press it on the teammate, they are immune to all CC from anything from now on, or at least until the shield's gone. And that by itself is very good. An 8-second shield where it stops CC, very good. And as well with that, it also stops any one-shot moves in the game. Let's say the enemy's using an McCree, and he goes for an ultimate, shoots the ultimate, it won't kill the teammate. Of course, they have the shield. It'll block all damage up to the point where the shield dies. So in general, it's just an ability that blocks one-shots, an ability that blocks all the CC, and of course an ability that just blocks a decent amount of damage. And with all of that in mind, it also gives Zarya a buff. When you use an E on a teammate, and of course they take damage, it gives you extra damage yourself. So really there's an ability that essentially just gives you pretty much everything you could want. The only thing it doesn't really give you is jump speed or jump height or something like that. So yeah, think about that. That only is an 8-second cooldown and it has all those benefits. And what else is great about Zarya? Well, another thing that's really good about her is the simple fact that with this charge, you can do some of the highest sustained damage in the entire game. Of course, if you have a 100% charge from your shift and your E. All you have to do is, of course, just left with the enemy, look at them, and you will shred through them. It doesn't matter if they're a tank, you know, Reinhardt is shield, shred through that shield, then kill the Reinhardt. Doesn't matter if they're support, of course, easily kill them. Or even if they're frontline, of course, someone like McCree you think maybe could kill Zarya as a tank. But of course, if you use shift and you have like 90 or 100 charge, McCree uses his E, it does nothing, you walk up, you laser him to death, and you do amazing. And yeah, that's the general gist with this character. You're going to be doing a lot of damage, you're going to be blocking a lot of CC, blocking a lot of damage yourself, and just kind of taking out enemy teams. And this is very good, especially for solo carrying. With this character, of course, it's very good to solo or even duo carry, because you can give your teammate a shield, and if they're playing someone like Genji, of course, Genji without any CC on him, very strong. Now, of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg with this character. Of course, you know, her regular attack is really strong, 100 charge, super powerful, and of course, her shield, very powerful. But what else is really great about her? Well, of course, her ultimate, which is probably one of the best, if not the best ultimate in the entire game. Now, by itself, it's actually pretty stinking strong. Even if you don't have any teammates around, if you get an ultimate on 3 or 4 characters, and you have like 80 to 100 charge, you can just right-click, bang, of course, and just blow up the enemy team. You can do a lot of damage by yourself. But, of course, that isn't really the main purpose of this ultimate. The main purpose is, of course, you press Q, you get like 3 or 4 of the enemy teammates together, and then you have someone like a Pharah, you know, justice rain from above, bang, kill the enemy team. And it's pretty much just as simple as that. The ultimate comes out very fast, it's just about as fast as pressing right click, and there's really not way too much counterplay of this ultimate other than simply playing someone like Reaper, playing someone like Tracer, you know, to just try to get plan out of it. Or what you could also do is just have your teammates never stick together and always be all the way around the map. But by making the enemy's teammates not really stick together, it actually gives your own team an advantage because, you know, you're a lot more coordinated, you're more next to each other, and you can go for easier pushes. So even by simply picking a Zarya, you kind of force the opponent's team to, you know, spread out a little bit while your team can stay a lot closer, which is just a very simple benefit that I don't really feel like way too many people think about. That's probably one of the better things about her itself. But now that we've talked about all the abilities, what kind of just puts her over the iceberg? Well, I feel like mainly it's just how much damage she can do mixed with how much shielding she can do. Now, of course, with Zarya, you won't often be, you know, one Zarya and that's the only tank you have in the game. Most often you'll have a Zarya, maybe a Roadhog, maybe you have a D.Va, something like that. You have another tank with you, so she doesn't really have that much of a problem from having that 8-second where she can't use her ability. If you have someone like a Reinhardt, you know, holding up his shield, he can usually hold up his shield for about 6-7 seconds if the opponents are targeting it, and then of course once it's done, you can just kind of run up with Zarya, use a shield on yourself, use a shield on one of the teammates, go ham for a little bit, run back, the Reinhardt shield will be back up, and you can just rinse and repeat for quite a long amount of time. And of course, with all this, you'll be dealing a lot of damage with your kit just because you're a very high damage dealing kit. Now, of course, people will say that this is countered by the fact that you do have pretty long cooldowns, but considering how strong these abilities are, they aren't really that long of cooldowns. But freaking McCree's roll is in a similar cooldown as your E, so just kind of think about that. You know, E, which stops you from all CC, the majority of damage, and just gives, of course, Zarya damage, compared to McCree, where it just resets your right click. You really have to think about those cooldowns and kind of compare and contrast how good the abilities are. Overall, I'm just going to say she has very good abilities. She has a very good ultimate that does take a long time to charge, but considering how strong of an ultimate it is, considering how hard it is to counter this ultimate, it's really not too long to charge. In the majority of the games, you can get 1 or 2 of these things out, which is very, very good. And overall, I'm going to say she's a super, super strong character. She has the majority of what you want as a tank. She has damage, she has protection, she is just countering enemies flat out. And yeah, overall, I'm going to say she's a super strong character. She has a lot of benefits, and of course her negatives are the fact that she can get sniped really easily, the fact that she can get taken out at longer mid-range, and the fact that of course you do have to kind of go ham a little bit to really do super well with her. But those aren't way too bad, considering that if you have another tank, it kind of counters those flaws. As a Reinhardt can just hold the right click, and then if the opponent team aren't getting close up, well, they're going to pretty much auto-lose, because Reinhardt can just push the car. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this character. She's very strong, and I do feel like she does need at least somewhat of a nerf. She's just too good at everything right now. Of course, you can't snipe people at far range or anything like that, but she just has too much damage, it feels like. Her shielding is just a little bit too strong, and of course when you just mix this together, it just feels like a character that's a little bit too good. Now what could you do? I'd say even just moving her E cooldown from about 8 seconds to about 10 seconds could help. I feel like she's very close to where she's balanced. She has a bit too much damage, maybe lower a tiny bit, just kind of give her a little bit more counterplay, because as it is right now, you can kind of spam out those shields on yourself and on teammates. So if they kind of fix that up, if they made so you couldn't spam those quite as often, I feel like she'd be a character that's strong, but not too strong. And this is essentially all you really have to do with Zarya in order to change the character to make her better or worse. All you have to do for the majority of the time is just buff or nerf her shield cooldown. So if it does turn out that, you know, she was actually not strong enough, you know, buff that shield cooldown. Make it go down to like 7 seconds. But if it turns out that she was too strong, maybe nerf it a little bit more, go down to like 12 seconds or something like that. Now that is a lot of extra time to nerf her shield, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, maybe 1 or 2 extra seconds one way or another if she's too strong or too weak. And that would give you the ability to just use it less or use it more, which just makes her a better or worse character. Simple as that. But in the end, of course, this is all just my own opinions about Zarya. Tell me what you guys are thinking about the character. Tell me if you think she's a little bit too strong, or maybe if you think she's a little bit too weak. Maybe I'm going crazy, and we need to actually buff this character a lot in order to make her better. But from what I've been seeing in a lot of competitive stats, I don't really think that'll be the case. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have a wonderful day.